Wow, you're a real trooper. This is part 4 of the Snowflake series, and this one is just to add a little bit more spark to your snowflake. And I'm continuing this after finishing part 3, so I already have my tabs open up here, and I showed how to do that in part 3. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I save this to my folder. So if I go to File and I go down to Move, I want to make sure I place in the Snowflake folder and it shows up that it's there already. This is light blue, so awesome. If you haven't done so, I recommend doing that. And then the next part is we're going to our white snowflake again. So I could select it from my Google Drive right here, or I have it right here. And I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to click Command plus D or Control plus D to duplicate. And then I'm going to hit Control plus X or Command plus X to cut. So it's Command on Apple devices, on all other devices. As far as I know, it is Control plus D. And then I'm coming back to my picture right here, and I'm just going to click on here somewhere, and I'm going to hit Command V as in van, so that you get to add that picture in here. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and grab from one corner down here, and I'm going to make this quite a bit smaller. And I'm going to just keep going a little bit smaller because I'm going to have to make it smaller anyway in a minute. So we'll go to about, maybe a little bit more, like this. And I'm going to bring this over and see if I can match this up between the corners right there. And that's still a little bit big. And if it's okay if you want it overlapping, that's kind of pretty too. And I think I'm just going to make it a tad bit smaller. So I'm holding down the Shift key, just going to pull in a little bit, just a little bit more, like so. And I think I will let it overlap a little bit. It's kind of neat that it's almost connecting with the stars down there too. So with that said, I might make it a little bit larger just to try something a little different there. And if I don't like it, I can always get rid of it later. But I'm just going to have it look like it's kind of connecting there, whether it connects or not. Okay, cool. So I'm going to select that again. I'm going to hit Command plus D or Control plus D to duplicate. I'm going to move this one over here and see if I can match this one up fairly closely as well. And that looks pretty good. Duplicate again, Command plus D, Control plus D. I accidentally grabbed the wrong thing, so I'm just going to come up here to undo. I didn't get the whole thing. I had these little parts selected there. So let me see if I can get that grouped as a whole. Command plus D or Control plus D to duplicate. And then we're going to move this one over on the left side. See if I can match that up there. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to hold down the Shift key and I'm going to group all 3 of these snowflakes together. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going up to Arrange and I'm going down to Group. And unfortunately, I grabbed a hold of the background here too. And even if I come up here to undo, it still disappeared. So what's happening is basically there's 3 different papers on top, or it's like each layer has a different picture on top of it. So like this right here is 3 layers, this background's 1 layer, and then my snowflake is actually behind this. So I'm going to deselect it. I'm going to pick up the blue paper here, move it over to the side here just so I can grab a hold of the shape back here. So I'm grabbing that and I'm going to come up to Arrange and I'm going to order to bring it to the front. Now it's going to go behind my snowflakes here, but that shows another way that you can do this, and I will bring those back in a minute too. Let me just get this set up real quick. And let's see, we need to set it up on the canvas. So yeah, there we go. And I pulled my canvas in closer so it fits snug all the way around the edge and my picture takes up the whole canvas. So now I want to bring these forward unless I like it like that, but I do want to bring these forward. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and select each one of these. And I'm going to arrange and I'm going to bring them to the front. And while I have all three of these selected, I'm also going to group them together. So I'm going to arrange and I'm going down here to select group. And now I'm going to hit Command plus D or Control plus D to duplicate. And then if you're doing this along with me, we're going to flip it. So we're going to arrange and we're going to flip it vertically. And now I'm going to see if I can grab just a hold of one of these and take my time pulling it down here a little bit. So there's so many things going on this page. It's moving quite a bit more slowly. So this part's going to take a little bit longer, but maybe it won't be too bad. And we're almost there. So close. And I'm just looking to see if everything kind of matches up. At this time, I could also deselect these. If I have to adjust them a little bit, I could. I'm going to just click off of that for a little bit and kind of see what the design looks like. But you can see that there's so many different options that you can add so many more things on here and change it up. You can add more color. But what I like about this project is with quite a few different religious holidays. It works well for Winter Wonderland, just to send a card to someone if you want to make a card out of this. And it's also really good for, it's really good to, and this picture is really about using monochromatic colors. Mono means one, chrome means relates to colors. So monochromatic means one color. So the colors we're using were mostly blue, black, and white. I'm going to deselect this over here. If I want to group everything together, just so it doesn't move, a way to do so is to hold down the command button on the keyboard and then press the letter A, and you've selected everything together. Then you can go to arrange and you can go down to group. And just to make sure everything's grouped together there, we can kind of move it off to the side just to see that, and it's working just fine. So I'm going to undo to move it back on the canvas. I want to make sure that the canvas fits really well all around it, and it does. And I think that works out really nicely. I hope you enjoyed this project and stay tuned. I will continue making videos as long as you're interested. So I wish you the best. Take care. Until next time, later.